spread the love and the connection the way that you can. So if you want to spread the love by protesting, please go for it. But if you want to sit at home and like maybe just do some research and look up online and read on some things, do that too. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. So that way you can feel like you've made a difference. It doesn't have to be vocal. It doesn't have to be loud. You can be quiet.
Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz coach and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. Together, we'll make magic your everyday normal, bringing you the highest vibrational content to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation and mindset tools, teachings, and experts to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Here's the quantum transformation, baby. Say it with me. Let's do this. Welcome back to the BAM Fam, the Badass Manifester podcast. So excited you guys are here. This conversation that I have with my friend Bola today is just so beautiful and amazing, and she speaks her truth as a Black woman and how she was raised, and I wanted to bring her on because we were just having a catch-up session and she started sharing about her perception and, you know, her take on what's going on in the world, and it was a very different perspective than what most people are sharing, and I was like, girl, we need to talk about this. We do. And she was like, no, like, I don't think so. I'm like, let me bring you on the show, or let's do an Instagram live or something so you can get this out, this beautiful perspective that needs to be heard. And she thought about it, and then she texted me later and she was like, okay, let's do it. So I'm really excited to have her on today's episode, bring her on the show. Before we do, I just wanted to share that I'm loving my Organifi. My Organifi drinks are my green juice in the morning before my coffee. It's helping me alkaline my body. You guys know, most of you know, some of you know, maybe you don't know, I'm on this journey of getting pregnant and alkalizing my body and preparing my body. And Organifi is definitely something that I look forward to every single morning. And it's like a little green powder. You just dump it in your water, you mix it up, and you drink it. And I drink it before my coffee. And it wakes me up. It makes my skin look really just glowy. And I feel like it's really helped me a lot in my energy levels, in the way that I feel. And not to mention, I just feel better when I drink green drinks. I don't know about you. So I wanted to offer you, I genuinely love Organifi, and I tag them all the time. And then they reached out to me within the last couple months and said, do you want to have a discount code to give to your community? And I was like, what? Like, this is crazy. Yes, I would love that. And so they said, okay, your community can get 15% off with your code Manifest with Ash. So if you go to Organifi.com and you use the Manifest with Ash code, all caps, you'll get 15% off your order. So I'm excited for you to try this and for you to get a discount, because hashtag manifesting discounts all day. I don't know. I'm goofy today. But I wanted to share that and invite you to try it. So let me know what you think. Tag me, message me, talk about it. And I can't wait for you to hear this episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Badass Manifester Podcast. Today's extra special because I have a beautiful soul here with us today, and we're going to have a really powerful conversation. Her name is Abolanle Gbidi, and she is my friend. She is a yoga teacher. We actually met through yoga, through Baptiste Yoga, and she was a Badass Manifester team member. She was part of the BAM fam for a bit, doing social media management, admin. She was so awesome on the team. She also has a spiritual car detailing biz, which you'll hear all about. Super freaking cool. She's a world traveler, and she's just an amazing soul. And she's going to share all about her experience through this life. We're going to talk about racism, anti-racism, her view and her perspective growing up as a Black woman in a predominantly white community, and her experience and perspective on life is just so unique and beautiful. And we were talking when she came to have a catch-up session with me, and I was like, listen, you got to share this story. Okay, like this needs to be heard. And she was very resistant to it at first. And then she texted me and she said, okay, let's do it. So we call her Bola for short. So welcome to the show, Bola.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me onto the episode for today.
So excited. Yay. Okay, so can you just share a little bit about your background, because I know that it's really unique and different, and I would love to hear about, how you were brought up.
The beginning parts of it would be just, the mom, the dad. Father was here in the States before my mother herself immigrated from Nigeria over to the United States back when she was about 32 years old. So being a woman who came across the seas over to America, the first thing that she just kind of wanted to do was build some type of foundation for herself. And from there, it was a fellow, two other women also who traveled from Nigeria here. So she only had 3 people who she knew in this entire country that she could rely on and call family.
Wow.
Yeah.
What made her travel from Nigeria to the States? How did she think, okay, I'm going to do this?
That's a funny story. Not really funny, but she actually had came from London after she went from Nigeria to London and back home to Nigeria, and then was sent here. She was unfortunately a victim of domestic abuse growing up with her first husband. But luckily, honestly, he sent her here to be here in the States, and because of that, now she had me and my younger brother, but she also met the man of her life, her love of her life, which is my father.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
She met him in the States?
In the States,
Wow.
So they both come from Nigeria, but he was born here, and my mom obviously back home.
Oh my gosh. So where did they meet?
They met actually in Showboat Casino, I want to say.
Wow.
They were both working there doing something, like different jobs, and she caught my father's eye, and since then.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So does she speak another language, right?
Yeah.
And so they both speak the same language?
I don't know about my dad.
Okay.
I wish I knew that part. I unfortunately did lose him growing up, but it's still good because I hear all the stories from my grandmother, my grandfather, and my mom. She speaks Yoruba, and you're in trouble if you hear
Yoruba. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful language, and I love the way it just flows off the tongue for everyone. So it's pretty interesting to hear other Netflix shows and things like that have my own home language, and they're just speaking it so fluently. I don't know all the words, but I'm still learning.
Wow.
At 24.
So, how do you say hi?
Depending on what time of the day.
Okay.
Either a carol or a cabo. So if you just walked into the house, it would be a cabo, meaning thank you for welcoming me into your home. Or a carol means welcome into the home.
A cara?
Oh, now I'm getting on this. a carol, and then a cabo.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So when your mom moved here, did she have you already or not? No, obviously not yet.
Yeah.
Because she met your dad later.
She had me, I think, about 3 years into their relationship.
Okay.
And then they got married. I was a ring bearer, of course.
Aww.
And then my brother afterwards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's just so interesting and wild to me that your mom moved here from Nigeria without knowing anyone and ended up working at the Showboat in New Jersey. It's just how does that happen?
Of all places of the States.
Of all places. That's just crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me. I think about that even just when, anytime anyone, immigrates here, I'm always wondering, how did you end up in New Jersey? Why? Just a couple questions. Why? How come?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So what was that like for your mom? Did she ever tell you, like, moving here, not knowing anybody? What was her mindset?
The mindset was the part that got me really focused on it, because she would tell me about the struggles and just the little things that even her stable family or her made up family that she has here would emulate, and how it would be different from the way the countries or the way people interacted here in the States. So, for example, the one thing is just growing up, you don't tell people your information, you don't tell people your blessings or your plans that are coming about, because if you did that, it would then cause your future plan to not work out. And we know that here, that doesn't really happen.
Well, in the land of manifestation.
Yes.
Right? We're like, let's declare our visions. So that's interesting. So one of the beliefs was like, don't like divulge too much information, because because people, is it like an evil eye thing, or?
Yeah. That's the way I would say. Yeah, exactly that.
What else? Like, what else was her mindset?
Well, with everything, it was more so when I was growing up, a lot of the things I would hear is just, don't act like the hood people down the street, or don't act like so-and-so that's in the neighborhood. And I never understood that, especially growing up, being here in the state. Didn't understand her mindset, because I looked at myself, I looked at the other person, or whoever she was speaking about, and I would say, but we have the same skin color. Mm-hmm. We have the same thing. Like, what's the difference between me and that person? And back home, I want to say it's probably the stories that she's heard growing up, was just here in the States, if you act like a certain type of person and you look, well, black, you're going to be treated like X, Y, and Z. And in her mindset, she just wanted the best for us.
Right.
So she was doing her best to protect us in the way she saw fit. And that was one of them.
Wow, that's so interesting. That's so, I can't even imagine, like, as a young, like, how old were you when she started telling you this?
I don't think I ever got the official program in until maybe second grade.
Wow, that's young.
Yeah.
That's young.
So, growing up, I had the fellow Nigerians who were also friends. But then once we started to distance ourselves from them, and we did move to a new neighborhood that was predominantly white, we were just told to act the prim and proper so we can fit in with the elite, quote unquote, of our area, and not act like the people who she sees in Atlantic City because of work and all that.
Wow. How do you think that affected you as you grew up? Like, yeah, as the programming kind of deepened in your psyche and you grew up and you always had that probably in the back of your mind, like, well, how did that impact you?
For sure. I don't think I noticed it consciously until I got to college. And that's a long time in my eyes. I always did the best to kind of stray away from those who were black, and I did my best to fit in with those who were white. I'd speak like them. I tried to straighten my hair like them.
Wow.
Just whatever I could to fit in, because in my eyes and from my mom's eyes, it would help me gain a better footing if I acted and behaved in a certain manner. And to her, she didn't want me to be left behind, not go to college. She didn't want me to be affected by the company I kept. So to her, anyone of color was a bad company. Or if they weren't, like, anyone who was not Nigerian but of color was just automatically a bad company.
That is so interesting. Like, that perspective, you just would not expect to hear. But it makes sense that she would want to protect you and want the absolute best for you, want every opportunity available to you, and it sounds like she also just wanted you to stay out of trouble. Like, she didn't want you to get into trouble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember specifically, we had friends in the neighborhood who were black, and we introduced her to them, and she understood. So she allowed us to hang out with them. But I remember the one day we all were around, we didn't have cell phones at the point, so we took the house phone, thinking it would go like a mile apart from the house and still be able to get a phone call from her. So we did things to let her know that we understood that she was trying to protect us. But it did also stunt our growth in regards to like just widening our friendships with other people.
Yeah. So anytime that you would make friends, did you have it in the back of your mind that you couldn't have black friends, or
that was almost the thing, yeah. So I had a conversation with my brother recently where I said I wish I had more black friends growing up. And to him, because of who he is, he didn't really understand because the programming wasn't as deep for him. So we had a conversation about that. But I can tell you to this day, I have a good handful. No more than a good handful.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Just because I feel like it gives such a different perspective to what we're hearing, even just in mainstream, but also on social media. And I know that that's kind of impacted you too. So let's just backtrack a bit. So you grew up and you've had these beliefs, and yet do you feel like they've limited you, those beliefs, or they've actually helped you more than anything?
That's actually, I feel like it's both in a way. So it's limited me in regards of like experiencing life through other people's eyes, especially those who are of color.
Yeah.
Because if I ask some of my friends how they feel about X, Y, and Z, they're not going to experience it the same way as I may have. But it's also helped because now it's pushing me to go really out of my comfort zone. Like, no, I have to make a connection. I can't just give someone a dirty look just because they look like me. Because, yeah. Like, it's little things like that I notice myself doing. It's a dirty look. It's the moving away. The things that some who are trained growing up that, like, black people are like X, Y, and Z do not associate, and they are not of color, that's how I would react as well. Wow. So it takes me the extra effort to be like, no, we have to stop. We have to. I mean,
it's like, do you believe that this is a thing that a lot of black women experience, where their parents try and keep them away from, like, is it racism in the race? I hate to put it that way.
No, but I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not going to say that's not racism within the race, because I've been told that too.
Yeah.
That anything that's saying no to a certain person of color or a certain thing is being racist. But I can't say exactly if any other women of color have felt this way. I know there's more of a push and a drive to present yourself. So you can go online to YouTube and you'll find thousands of videos for wigs, because our hair is a dead giveaway. Not of color, but it just shows that, like, we're unruly if we have our natural hair out. So having this straight long hair is like a sign of elitism in a way, or just being more well spoken is a way. Being more white, actually.
Yeah, right. Like, that's what your mom wanted for you. And so you would have all the opportunities, but at the same time, I feel like I remember having a conversation with you like a long time ago, and it was more about you when you were growing up in school and how you felt like you couldn't just be yourself. Yeah. And I feel like this is connected to that. We might do part coaching session, part interview. Like, I don't know. Is it connected to this?
I believe it is, because there was just moments I've tried to lighten my skin so I can fit in. I've tried all this other stuff to just be more, just to be more white. Really, that was really what it was. Just to be blunt, is just to be more
right.
white.
How does that feel, just to say that? 'Cause I don't know if you've actually ever said that.
I've never. I mean, I hate when people go and say, "Oh, well, you sound very white." I'm like, this is just my voice. I don't know what to tell you. But to say it now, where I feel completely comfortable at 110%, I'm like, yeah, that was exactly what I was trying to be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And wow, that's like so powerful just to even freaking say.
It really is. I feel this sense of like
release. I see it.
Yeah.
Whoa. What is happening? Transformation. But I feel like it's interesting because I know your perspective on today, which we're going to get to, is different than most people. But at the same time, I feel like your mom, in a way, didn't know. She didn't know how she was impacting you. You know what I mean? She didn't know how she was impacting you. She just wanted the best for you and the best for her family and the most opportunities. But it makes sense because she was, and I think it's a part, like that belief system that she had, I think is also a part of like the immigration belief system. And I wonder if it would be different if she was born here. Like what her belief system would be around, you know, Black people.
She would definitely be more, first of all, welcoming. I think she'd have an open heart to them and not see them in the light that media has portrayed them. So the only way she got her information back home is just all the media.
Yeah.
So she's born 1960s. I'm not really sure what was happening then. I should catch up on my history. But there's all the information from Nigeria or from America was definitely being transmitted over to Nigeria. So one way or another, she only got whatever the media was telling her.
You're so right.
And that's how it just sunk. And then plus, obviously, other stuff that was going on there.
Wow. Okay, so you growing up and living life this way, and now realizing like for you to be more white, do you still feel like that? Or do you feel like you are who you are?
I am who I am.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at you. You guys, like, Bola is so beautiful and vibrant, and her head is shaved, and like she just owns it. She just owns herself. You own your skin. I feel like you really are more than ever just being who you are.
I feel more like me now than ever before. And
what shifted that for you?
I think it's been a process. It's been little things. I did the big chop, and then I did another big chop, and then finally this hair shaving. I think that was the biggest change I've done because I can be very tied to my hair. Like I actually just bought a wig before I did it because I wanted the long, luscious hair for the summer. And now I'm just like, F that. This is my head. Like I put sunscreen on it. And I feel more like my face is what matters. It's no longer the hair that matters.
Yes. I love it. That's so beautiful. It's true though.
Yeah.
It's bold.
Whew.
It's bold to do that,
Mama
girl.
was not happy.
Oh, no? Oh, right, because it's not...
It's not what she wanted. And she wants me to have longer hair. Like, my sisters have long hair. So, for me to have no hair, she's like, what's going on?
She can't control...
No, she can't.
She can't control Bola. Abolanle. Swear one day I'm going to be able to say your name.
You got it.
Abolanle.
Yes.
Abolanle.
Yes.
How beautiful is that name, you guys? So that's a Nigerian name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So beautiful. So beautiful. So obviously in today's world, with everything that's happening with George Floyd and the current events and the way that everyone has reacted, what was your initial reaction?
The initial reaction was retreat. And the first word that comes to mind was coward, but it wasn't really coward. It was just I could not take all the information, all the emotions that were so heavily on that subject. I had to retreat. Every time I was on social media, I had to carefully swipe through things because I didn't know it was going to pop up soon on the feed for my eyes to intake, and I didn't want that to happen.
Wow. So in that retreat, I think it was in that time that I reached out to you and I was like, we need to catch up. And I asked you, like, how are you feeling with everything that's going on? Because you've never come across to me as, like, super, you know, like, activist. Like, you care about everybody. You care about your community. Like, you are very, like, arms wide open. Like, that type of person. Yeah. And so something that you said when I asked you was that just like you were afraid that your opinion wouldn't be accepted, which I feel like really resonates with like everything else you've shared so far. It's like it's all about acceptance.
I just wanted and needed to fit in growing up, and when I wasn't, it was hard to like maneuver around that. I was like, okay, well, what else do I have to change about myself to fit in?
Right. And I feel like that's whatever, no matter what your beliefs are on the subject of, you know, the current events, like that is the problem. That's the problem in itself. The fact that you feel like you had to change yourself to fit in or to be more white. Like that's the problem, because it's not like, oh, it's a white world and everybody has to fit in with the white people, even though it could seem that way from your mom's perspective, right? Or your perspective growing up with those belief systems. But I feel like that's the fucking problem. Why don't we try to be more black?
We don't have enough history. We don't have enough stories to celebrate that. And now that's changing. Now the norm is changing.
That like makes me want to cry. Like it really does.
But we had to go through this, or else we would never see it.
Yeah. It's true. I know. I actually wrote that in a post and I sent it to someone on my team, Jenna, who you know, and we had to go through this, and I ended up editing that out because I didn't want it to seem like, oh, George Floyd had to die. You know what I mean? That's not what I meant. But like this revolution needed to happen.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, you know, as you were trying to blend in and be more white, like, did you ever experience racism?
See, I've been thinking about that recently. I don't know if I did. Mm-hmm. And if I did, I might have been completely blind to it and couldn't call it racism. Mm-hmm. I've never seen family members treated in a manner where it's like, oh, no, you're definitely blatantly giving us disrespect because of our skin and color. And the reason why is because, like, if you ask my mom, she'll say yes, for sure, or anyone else. But to me, it was more so, how did you approach the situation? Mm-hmm. Were you already in a snarky mood when you asked that cashier for X, Y, and Z? Because if so, they're just giving it right back to you. And that was my mindset, because I can see it vividly. Just my mom can be very, very aggressive. So when that's given back to her and then she goes and says, oh, they're being racist. I'm like, no, Mom, you're being kind of mean to them. Mm. That's why they're giving you that. So me personally, I've just done my best to be as kind to everyone. And then if I am snarky or if I get snarkiness back, I'm like, okay, probably I acted in a certain way that like sparked something for them, or they're just having a shitty day. Mm-hmm. That was just how my mind worked, even though I was told you gotta act like X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Because of, yeah.
So you don't experience racism.
I don't believe that I did. And I might have.
Right.
I could tell someone the story and they could definitely say, yes, you did. But I don't believe I did.
Right. And I feel like that's attributed to just the work that you've done on your own mindset and your own inner healing and your own belief systems and things of that nature. But I feel like your mom prepared you so you didn't experience racism. You know what I mean? Like, act white so you don't experience racism.
That's very true, actually.
You know? And that's sad that she had to do that. Like, that's even a thing. That's even a thing that she had to, like, say or do, or, you know, it's just, yeah. It's interesting because, like, from my perspective, my mom always taught me, you never judge anyone by the color of their skin. Everyone is the same. Everyone is equal. Everyone is your friend. Like, you know, obviously, don't talk to strangers, right? But, and thank God she did that. But, like, the whole white privilege thing, I never ever considered. I never knew about, never thought, none of that. And it's exactly what you're saying. Like, be more this way, so you are accepted, so you fit in, so that you don't have any trouble. Mm-hmm. I'm just curious, like, what is your perspective on white privilege?
There are blatant examples in our history and in life of that exactly happening, of one being picked over because they are white. Mm. I've seen it and I know that's a thing, but like right now there's a meme or just something that's swirling. It's like, did you manifest that or was that white privilege? And to me, it triggers me, which is weird that it triggers me because in my perspective, no, you did manifest it. Mm. There is not a white privilege. There's not a black privilege in the eyes of source, in the eyes of universe. It's just you either got it or you didn't get it. And if you didn't get it, that's because something else is coming for you. Like that's how
This is so powerful. Holy shit.
That's how I view it. So I don't. Yes, there are white privilege that's been portrayed. And there's definitely been cases and all that, but if I don't get something, I'm not saying it's because I'm black.
Yeah.
Like, I just, so like kind of jump topics, like relationship related, like if a person doesn't like me, the first thought used to be, oh, it's because I'm black. Now it's not. Now it's just like, no, it's just they don't like me. They don't want to be in a relationship with me. Cool, next.
So just to circle back to what you were saying about manifestation, and I know we talked about this last week too, around like you feel like you haven't experienced direct racism, and I think that from what you said, it's because you believe it's the energy that you give out, right? And I mean, I've seen you in public, like we've gone to events together, and like Bola literally makes friends every freaking step she takes. Like every step she takes, she's meeting someone new. She's talking to someone new. She's making connections with someone, and that's just because you have that vibrant energy about you. And that's why people are attracted to you and respond to you the way that they do. So I think that that's such a beautiful point that you made about the universe and in the eyes of source. Can you just reiterate that one more time for us?
In the eyes of source and in the universe, there is no white or black privilege. It's just you either manifested it or something else is coming. It's the only way I can view it.
So even though you know that there is racism in the world, even though you know that there is such thing as white privilege, even though you know that these events are happening, you still are seeing it from a higher perspective.
I mean, there are moments where I will fall into it.
Yeah.
And there will be moments where I will react and I will respond the way my highest self doesn't want me to. But it's also the way I needed to respond in that moment.
Yeah.
But when the whole thing came out with George Floyd, I just had to retreat. I couldn't participate in the protests. I couldn't participate in the Facebook post or the Instagram post. I just had to still do what I was doing prior, and that was just me being the best I can on that day, and then the next day, and so forth.
And I know that you also had some things around like not wanting to say anything that people don't agree with. Mm-hmm. What was that? Can you say more about that?
So I had saw the whole thing had came out, and there was just my thoughts on it, and I didn't want to post that. I don't see it as this. I don't see it as not Black lives don't matter. Black lives do matter. It's just I had a different perspective, and a sorority sister had actually reached out to me, and I went internally and freaked out because I didn't want to tell her my truth and then her to distance herself from me.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to lose that friendship.
So she was Black too, right?
She's Black as well, yeah.
Okay.
But I told her and she understood completely, which I was a sigh of relief, but in that moment of reading the text, I didn't know how to respond.
What did she ask you?
She had asked, why are my thoughts on what's going on in the world, due to the fact that she knows I was raised in a different manner. I didn't have the typical Black experience being in this country. And I had to take a step back, did my whole panic, came back, And I told her at this moment, right now, my main focus is just to go within and figure out what it is I really believe and what I don't believe. And then from there, just hold the space I can for those who are coming in and telling me how much they are grateful for having me in their life, or how much they're sorry or apologetic that anything might have happened or they acted a certain way.
Did people do that?
Here and there, but it wasn't more so like I took it and I just welcomed it in. So when people are like, we're creating posters for this protest, I'm like, I am proud of you. You go for that.
Right.
I can't join you, but I am proud of you.
Yeah. Wow, that's so powerful. And I just also want to presence and acknowledge you for taking that pause and like retreating, because I feel like that was something that a lot of people did. And I think a lot of white people got bashed for doing that because they're like, oh, silence is being part of the problem. You're being complicit if you're being silent. And obviously no one's going to say that to you, but because, you know, you're processing everything. And I think that if you're listening and you're still processing everything and you haven't spoken up yet, I just want to give you a little bit of grace too, because we don't necessarily like know how to navigate these waters, right? But we know what's right and we know what's wrong, and racism is wrong and racism needs to end, right? And we need to be pro-equality. And so I think that you believe that too.
Yes.
Right? Just because you're quiet doesn't mean that you don't believe that.
No. And everyone can do their own way of protesting and showing up for the other.
Mm-hmm. I think this is your way. And I know, like, you know, Bola and I worked together pretty closely. She was here a lot. And there is always, like, coaching in the mix, too, of, like, just talking about things deeper about you and where you're going and what you want in your life. And this is actually a really big deal for you, like, speaking publicly about a topic that is so taboo and something that I don't know if you've ever talked about before.
No.
So
besides family now.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate it. And I know everyone listening appreciates it, because speaking your truth, I think, is part of your mission here. Like, yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah. And I know it's hard.
It is. Especially when I'm expected to be, or essentially produce the just as much enragement as others. And I can't.
I think that's a really fresh perspective for people to hear, though. Like, it's okay that you don't feel enraged. What do you feel?
I feel with this, there's more sense of acknowledgement. And there's more of a sense of just connectiveness, because of the fact that now I see the information that others have been posting, and they are spreading their love. They're spreading the love the way that they can. And that looks like posting all the vegan, Black-owned restaurants in Philadelphia. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Because, yes, you're giving the money towards someone who you might not normally have visited their shop because it didn't pop up on your feed or something like that.
Yeah.
And now it is popping up on your feed. Now you can go visit. Now you're doing they're doing the research. They're finding out all the history from Netflix and Amazon that, like, whoa, this is something that's been going on. Yes. I didn't hear about it because my family never spoke about it. But by them learning about it now, they're changing future generations. And that's all, like, that's what it takes. And that's all I want people to realize. Do the work and spread the love and the connection the way that you can. So if you want to spread the love by protesting, please go for it. But if you want to sit at home and, like, maybe just do some research and look up online and read on some things, do that too. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. So that way you can feel like you've made a difference. It doesn't have to be vocal. It doesn't have to be loud. It can be quiet.
Wow, that's amazing. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It can be. And it's enough.
It is.
And I remember like what you said, you were like, I just don't want to feel like because I'm not doing what everybody else is doing. But look what you're doing. You're doing something completely different. You're on the Badass Manifestor podcast.
I am. Oh my gosh. Never thought I'd be here, but I am.
It's a really good episode, too. It's probably going to be like a really highly downloaded episode. What would your mom say if she heard this episode? Is she going to hear this episode?
I am going to blast into the Facebook, into our family group chat for sure.
Hi, Mom. What's your mom's name?
TT.
TT. TT, do you love me? Are we riding? Saying never ever.
We're having a dance party, guys. I think she would be amazed, I think, or disappointed, I'm not so sure. But she would look at this in different eyes because she's seeing my perspective through my voice. And yes, I've told her, but to actually see the thoughts and how I've grown up, outside of her being my mom, just who I am as a person now, I think she'd understand it a little bit more.
Mom, you did good. You did good. And that's the thing. Aww. Say that again.
I love you, Mom.
That's the thing, though, is our parents are doing the best that they can. Always.
Only.
Yeah, and only. And so it's we just got to thank them for being so brave and strong and giving us what they did and what they could based on what they had to work with. So that's an important part too. So where do you see all of this going? I see all of this as next level awakening.
Oh my gosh. We've all, spiritual community has definitely wanted something like this, or at least a collective awakening. And now that we actually got it, we're oh wait, shit, this is actually happening.
Oh shit, awakening is actually really hard.
And not as pretty as we thought it would be.
It never is. It never is. People have to die for it, and that's messed up. But I shared yesterday on my Instagram that I was thinking about this for awakening. Why does awakening have to be so painful? And why does there always have to be a breakdown before there's a breakthrough?
We would never do it.
Right.
Never.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you go.
I don't think if this was to be blown up to the proportion that it was, we would never have seen it as a problem. We would never have tried to recalibrate wholly, not just individually, because people have been doing this individual work.
Right.
Now we're wholly coming together to recalibrate the future of this earth. That's major, and we had to go through something traumatic to get to that point.
Wow. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And there's something that comes to mind, and I know that, and I shared this on my Instagram, but it's pain is inevitable and suffering is optional, right? And I feel as humanity, we're all very sensitive. We can all feel empathically, the pain from George Floyd's death, the pain from all of the people before him that had to die because of their race, because of police, because of all this shit that's been going on. And the years of, suppressed anger and judgment and racism. And I think that we're all feeling it very, very deeply. And something that needs to happen is we need to release the suffering.
Yeah.
The pain of it's inevitable. We're going to feel the pain of it. But the suffering is now optional. How can we move forward? We want unity. We can't have unity and peace and justice when we're locked into the feeling of suffering.
Mm-hmm. That's when we come down to when those who have said, I feel like I'm part of the problem, and I understand that mindset fully and wholly, then what can you do from that? Don't sit in that I'm part of the problem mindset. Just be okay, what can I do next to get out of that and become a solution for this problem?
Yeah, right. And start telling yourself, I'm the solution.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm the solution to this problem.
Yes.
Whatever that problem may be, it's just as simple as that, because...
Solution to me is just taking responsibility. you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sometimes their word's scary.
You in particular are not a fan of that word.
Yeah. I'm like, let me dodge that real quick. But
this right here, right now, you are taking responsibility.
And that's what I want to do from here on out. Any way I can.
Mm-hmm. And I think in the beginning of this, a lot of people were feeling like, oh, my voice doesn't matter. My post won't matter. My donation won't matter. I felt that way. And I don't know. Did you feel that way?
I believe that me saying just my thoughts was going to essentially upset the world I was in, the world that I had created. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to upset the world, meaning like I didn't want to upset the people who were in my world by saying what I had thought and believed.
Did you think that you were going to upset like the black people in your world?
Yeah, I felt that, but then I also felt like I was going to become isolated from the white friends I had as well. Because to them, they're like, wait, what do you mean you're not supported in an X, Y, and Z way?
Yeah.
So, and I'm really grateful that they're not. Like, I've told multiple friends who've asked, hey, you want to go protest? And I'm like, nope. If you go, let me know how it goes. Stay safe, whatever the case is. But I'll be home and I'll be supporting you the way I can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like standing true, like you said, doing your part, whether it's in a big and loud way or if it's in a soft and quiet way, every bit of it is going to make a difference to just help our world come together more and more and more. If you were a psychic, which I know you have those abilities, what do you see for our future? As humanity.
As humanity, really, it's just there's going to be a more deeper understanding of past programming that each of us have had. Mm-hmm. And I believe it's going to be more, what's the word? Not welcomed, but it's going to be just more accepted. Like if you were brought up as X, Y, and Z manner, but we see that person's trying to recalibrate that. I don't think there's going to be any more of just like, oh, we're not going to associate with you. It's going to be, let's show you some more love. Mm-hmm. Let's see what's going on. I just feel like it's going to be more connectivity between everyone.
Yeah.
Even if we don't actually like go and hold hands with everyone.
The connectivity. I completely feel that. Wow, this has been such a powerful, powerful conversation. How do you feel from this conversation?
Way lighter. My hands are no longer sweaty, thank God.
Yeah, it's
better.
I'm really committed in my leadership to talk about things that are hard to talk about and things that are taboo. And before we hit record, we were like, where should we have this conversation go? Like, what should we say? Like, da 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 da. And then we just kind of saged and said our prayers and tapped in together, and we decided to just let it flow, and it really did. It really, really did. So I have 2 more questions for you. One is, what makes Bola a badass manifester?
What makes Bola, that is me, a badass manifester is the freedom and the freedom and joy I just get from every day almost. Even in the hard ones. That's why I am a badass manifester.
Yes.
I will find it one way or another. I'll go digging to find the joy in the day.
That's so awesome. Yeah, it's true. You do that. You definitely do that. Definitely. And if you had a message to the world right now, a last word to leave with everyone, what would it be?
Don't stop believing in the work that you're doing. Whatever that looks like. Don't stop believing in it.
There you have it. Thank you so much.
You're
this
welcome.
Was amazing. Love you, girl.
Love you too. Thank you for having me on here.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
Of course. And if you guys want to connect with Bola, you want to follow her on Instagram, she'll share it with you right now. If you are local to New Jersey and you want her to give you a spiritual card detail, let her know. Hit her up on Instagram, but also you're going to have to wait because she's about to set sail and drive across country from New Jersey to California.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Oh my God.
I'm going to get to see the sunrise. Oh, it's going to be beautiful.
I'm so excited for you.
We'll see. I'm going to post everything. So
follow her journey.
On Abolanle, it's phonetically spelled, so Bahlanlay. Yeah.
And I'll tag it in the show notes. Woo! We did some work today because that is how we roll. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too. How can you support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit those 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. It truly means the world to me. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot this episode and tag me and my guests on IG at Manifest with Ash. Say with me, I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy. I deserve everything I desire. Now go get 'em.